Sabrina 2000s comic, issue 72. Why should I care about how well these characters did on their SATs? Why don't they just call it SATs? That shouldn't be copyrighted. Sabrina did average. They mentioned their recommended careers, and I remember that I never got told what recommended career path I had. Is this just an American thing? Suddenly Harvey the idiot got programmer and accountant. As usual, the writer did no research. Sabrina got no match. I think that's unrealistic. She's told that she's good at everything, so how did she just do average instead of amazing? How does she do good at everything? Wouldn't she have gotten on her SATs a job in the news, a job as a reporter, the career path that she wanted in a sitcom? And Harvey has wise advice that all that matters is what she wants to be. You know, it would be a lot more interesting and respectable for a character if it just told us what career path she wanted. I don't even know what hobbies and interests she has. Amy tells Harvey that he's not allowed to eat lunch with other women, being jealous. And Amy tells Harvey that if he hangs out with Sabrina before he's ready, he could do more harm than good. The background has obnoxious hearts in it, and she wants a picnic. Well, he says he has to stay home because his parents are out of town for their cousin's wedding. Either she has no taste in men, or she's just doing this to get at Sabrina. And I wish I knew why. He just seems too lame for her. Because she's always been mean to Sabrina, so you'd think she would be judgmental to the point where she wouldn't be able to stand him. She tells him she wants a party, and a party will make him popular with the girls to give him confidence. She has to be just making an excuse to have a party, because why would that be the case? It's her party. And he thinks it's lame that she wants a winter theme where everyone has to dress as a prince or princess. But he doesn't just say it's lame. So he doesn't really care about not betraying his parents' trust. Sabrina and Landry waste my time boring me because Landry doesn't want to tell the teacher about the forced conflict with a tree that any witch could just point to solve. Couldn't a bunch of witches gather together and make duplicate mana trees? Couldn't they just summon a whole forest of them? Because witches can just summon duplicates of themselves that still have magic. Of course, the more mana trees there are, the more trees would have to be guarded from people. But still, it's a security risk to have just one. Shinji thinks no one's gonna go to Harvey's party, even though Amy's gonna be there. And he wants to see how bad it'll be. You know, why does the mana tree even have to be specifically where it is? Why can't a bunch of witches gather together and just teleport the mana tree to another place? Why couldn't the queen have told a whole bunch of people to teleport the mana tree to another universe? Or like, to an asteroid with a dome over it? Like, she acts like she cares about the tree and wanting to save it because she sends Sabrina to find out about it. Harvey acts off-putting at school, and Sabrina calls him a phony for trying to do what's cool and getting told what to do by a manipulator. He doesn't side with her for some reason, and instead says it's good that she won't come to the party, and fortunately calls himself stupid afterwards. I feel like it is less annoying for him to be at least trying to be cool. Landra once again argues with Sabrina, saying that she has to help Harvey throw the party or it'll be a disaster. I can't help but feel like someone isn't really a friend if all they ever do is argue, though. She treats her worse than Amy does. She says a true friend would help him. True. Sabrina's supposed to be a goody-goody, so she should help him. Sabrina says she's gonna go after using magic to disguise herself. Then her aunts waste my time, with Hilda bitching at her that she's supposed to tell her that she's going to a party in advance. So why did we have to see this scene? Salem ratted her out for no reason because, brownie points if you ever hope to become human again. This is just forced conflict. I don't understand why her aunts are acting like this. She could warp. I can only assume they don't trust her not to do drugs or drink, but it doesn't say that because it's a kids comic where depressing drama happens all the time anyways. Sabrina shows up and is embarrassed that nobody else bothered to dress up. This must have been before costume parties got popular. I don't get it. Sabrina went to a costume party in the 90s comic and everybody dressed up. Why are the teenagers thinking they're too cool for it now? Of course, Shinji thinks she looks great. And Landra abusively hits him out of jealousy. I miss when she was a good character. At least now there's something going on with her. But I'm feeling annoyed instead of feeling nothing. It goes without saying, But every time lips look like this, in a big circle, the art looks ridiculous. Harvey wishes Sabrina was here, as Amy realizes that Sabrina shouldn't be here. It seems forced that some guys are trying to throw around a valuable jar in the house. Sabrina has to use magic to keep it from breaking. You know, why didn't Harvey hide the jar? Wasn't that immediately common sense? To hide all of the breakable valuables before a party? And someone picks up Harvey to scare him. So the reason people were clowning around with the jar was that Harvey's unpopular. Hopefully for the same reason I've been turned against them. I guess they only showed up at the party to bother him. I guess that's why nobody dressed up, specifically to spite him. Landry uses magic to make him feel stung. And Gigi makes the hungry teenagers think the place is haunted because the shelves all close. And now I'm actually starting to enjoy the story, with all the magic being used. It's actually feeling like how the series is supposed to be. Constantly entertaining. Amy starts up a game of truth or dare. What is she, 6? I feel like this is unrealistic. I guess she's completely out of ideas. Sabrina calls Landra a chicken for picking truth. Nothing's actually forcing anyone to tell the truth, so why not pick that option and then lie? Landra got volunteered for this by her boyfriend who's been a jerk all story. Landra says that if she wasn't dating Shinji, she'd want to date his brother. And he freaks out because his brother is 22 and people laugh. How is I supposed to be able to tell just by looking at him that he's 22? Well, I didn't mention this right away because I thought it was obvious. His brother has a much better design than he does. Thankfully, Landra's smiling after that panel. I'm glad she said something that freaked him out. I can't blame her. Landra insists on causing conflict in Sabrina's life again. With friends like these, who needs Amy? She dares Sabrina to kiss Harvey because the writer, like a stereotype, only cares about romance because it's girl stuff. Amy hates this, and Sabrina picks Amy for the next turn, and she storms off, calling it a stupid game. Sabrina sees Harvey go outside without winter clothes on when it's snowing. And he says he's upset that he let himself get bullied into this party and one of his best friends isn't here. Sabrina's his best friend? He had a funny way of showing it. And he admits that he should have listened. He says he wishes that Sabrina kissed him instead. He's embarrassed that he told her so much, and refuses to explain why he isn't dating Sabrina. Too bad. He thinks he's talking to someone that he's never seen before in his life. So there's no harm in explaining himself. Sabrina says that he should try talking to Sabrina because she'd be understanding, and he's scared by it. Because more drama! It cuts to several hours later, and of course, Sabrina uses magic to clean up the entire house in seconds with Harvey outside. Of course he wonders if she's from another world. The magic being too obvious makes me wish this was an earlier comic even more. Sabrina 2000s comic, issue 73. Sabrina looks like a guy in the first panel. Her hair is way too short. Oh, she's got eyelashes, but still. I'm officially tired of her hairstyle. I think they were trying to go for a bob earlier, but they really should have had her with the headband all along. Amy says she'll never beat her if this is her idea of how to get a date with Harvey. Can it just stop with a focus on shipping? Since when are they so openly hateful to each other? Sabrina thinks this may be her chance to get Harvey away from Amy on Valentine's. I don't care, he's proven he's a horrible love interest for Sabrina. If this was the 70s Sabrina, she would have already broken up them effortlessly by using magic to make her think Harvey's a jinx, or making them have a terrible fight. So I don't take this seriously either. She's always been selfish in every other sense. The last few months, her school has been trying to raise money to buy new computers. Their computers are so outdated that somehow only one nerd uses them. Which doesn't even happen in elementary school, and they don't even have a technology program that uses the internet yet. I didn't know Sabrina lived in a poor neighborhood. I was using computers and the internet since grade school, and this is a mid-2000s comic. Sabrina decides to start an auction for dates to raise money. Amy accuses Sabrina of doing this to get a date with Harvey, and Sabrina thinks that she might be deluding herself that she could rekindle a relationship with them. But she won't give up, or point to brainwash him into asking her to the dance, so I hate how she's wasting my time. Can the plot just skip to when it's actually interesting? So many wasted panels. I didn't need to see any of the panels where there's nothing to talk about. Salem has the most predictable choice for Valentine's Day. The talking dog. Just because she called him earlier and he won't turn down free food. But it's a dog, and he has free food here. He hates her. Whatever. It's boring that Sabrina and Landra go shopping for clothes. The issues lasted way too long, and this is all that's happened so far. It's nice of Landra to buy Sabrina an outfit, and it's good that Sabrina hugs her and thanks her. After that patting scene, like they don't have nearly enough friendship moments, so it doesn't make up for anything. Landra reassures Sabrina after more boring dialogue. Couldn't the story have just started with the auction? There's been nothing so far. I can tell padding when I see it. Why am I being shown characters I don't know being bid on? That was obvious padding too. Amy offers $200 more than Sabrina for Harvey because she's rich. I'm surprised the writer even knew about that, because there's been so many continuity errors. This has been like a different comic continuity entirely. Sabrina should have known this would happen and not even bothered, since in this comic, she thinks she's above zapping up money. Or what I'm going with is she's too stupid to think of that. Wow, good thing Gwen's getting a lot of bids. It gives us a very surprising, refreshing message that even characters that aren't as skinny as possible can still be recognized for how pretty they are. I'd never expect to see this in a high school story. Shinji can't resist the urge to bid $100 on Sabrina, when a guy she actually wanted was about to win, and he has a girlfriend already, and he rejected her on a date, because he figured out that they weren't compatible. But no, he thinks she's that pretty even though she's clearly not. He says that Sabrina's worth more than $20. He somehow thinks Landra would understand, despite the insane jealousy she showed him, and says that she'd rather that he bid on her than some creepy random guy. Yeah, most of the guys were off-putting. He says he'll see Landra later tonight after acting entitled to date her. She agrees as long as it's just friends. I guess it makes sense because she's attracted to him. And I'd want to spite Landra too. And refuses to tell Landra about this so that she won't get the wrong idea. So more conflict will happen. But it also caused conflict if he told her. All I can say about Landra is, I guess she's nice. He refuses to talk about Landra, compliments Sabrina's outfit, and gets thanked. He says it's great to have a friend like her when she doesn't really have much friendship moments with him. And the only memorable moments he has with her, he's mistreating her. And she thanks him. I'm still creeped out by him. They do great at the fighting game. Sabrina laughs when he says that he's so sad that he lost, and she hugs him and says she'll go easy on him next time. They play mini-golf too. I wish I saw this kind of story with Fiona and Scourge. They're going to all sorts of places and having fun. It's creative having them go to multiple places. He says she cheated with magic and gives her a noogie. I'm impressed that she used magic, as I'm officially sold on him dating her instead of Harvey. Though that's not saying much because the other option was awful and I still don't like the way he looks. She thanks him for the date because otherwise she'd have a miserable Valentine's Day, because I can only assume she's either too stupid to think of zapping up a boyfriend for the day, or she thinks it'd be too pathetic. He asks for a goodbye kiss. She refuses, and he says it'll be a secret. Gee, I wonder if Landra will find out. Maybe she'll witness it when she has no reason to be here, when it's far more likely that she'd be in her house. Go figure, the most obvious, cliche, cheap drama thing happens. Although they'll be happier dating each other than her, when all he was doing was settling for her. So this is actually for the best in the long run. Still, it's so forced. Teenagers don't walk everywhere. There's just been no indication that she's the type to take a walk outside around the block. You'd think she'd rather warp to the jungle to take a walk. She's a witch who can just teleport wherever. She could have just been spying on Shinji with a crystal ball. That would explain her seeing this, and not be contrived because we already know that she's a jealous girlfriend who thinks they'll get back together. And Sabrina could have easily avoided this by not letting herself get pressured into a kiss. I was hoping that she'd seen it because she was spying on him through the makeup handheld mirror. But no, and went the most cliche route imaginable, instead of bringing back a Chekhov's gun. Didn't this happen with Sonic and Mina too? The story ends right there, so it spares me from Landra's furious reaction. This story was about Sabrina and Landra going to a party that Amy bullied Harvey into doing. Nothing that mattered actually happened, though. So what was the point? Well, it was entertaining when they were all casting spells at the party. That's the amount of time that I'd like to have in between spells. This story had a whole lot of nothing in it until finally, Sabrina goes up for auction and Shinji can't resist the urge to bid on her and get a date with her. I do have to compliment the date itself. The writer had the creativity to bring them to a lot of different places. They really looked like they were having a good time. Sabrina used magic at one point. It was foreshadowed that they would do this. What is contrived is Landra seeing them in the way that she does. She should have been spying on them magically. She wouldn't have been right there to see him pressure her into a kiss, when she could have easily said no because Landra is supposed to be her friend. Although, I can't understand her wanting to get back at her for stealing Shinji from her. It just feels like I'm talking about something so petty and pointless, talking about the romance drama between Sabrina and the other guys. It's just so silly.